Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question that could change the direction of your entire life. What if the future you keep waiting for is waiting for you to become the person capable of creating it? What if the opportunities you believe are missing from your life are not missing at all? What if they are simply waiting for a stronger version of you to recognize them, pursue them, and refuse to let them go? Because the major key to your better future is not your past. It is not your circumstances. It is not your family background, your bank account, your failures, or the opinions of other people. The major key to your better future is you. The moment you stop blaming everything outside of yourself, you begin to discover the power that has been inside you all along. This is not about pretending that life has been fair. It is not about denying the pain, the rejection, the loss, or the obstacles you have faced. Some things are genuinely difficult. Some people may have hurt you. Some opportunities may have been taken away from you. But here is the question that can change everything. How long are you going to allow what happened yesterday to control what you do today? Because the future does not belong to the person with the easiest past. It belongs to the person who decides to take responsibility for what happens next. You may not have chosen your circumstances, but you still have a choice about your response. You may not control what people say about you, but you control whether their opinions become your identity. You may not control every obstacle that appears in your path, but you control whether you stop, learn, adapt, and continue moving forward. And this is where your power begins. The moment you say, my life is my responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. You stop waiting for the world to become easier. You begin asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what can I do about it? Instead of saying, I cannot change my situation, you begin asking, what is one thing within my control right now? That shift in thinking can completely transform your life. Most people want the rewards of responsibility without accepting the weight of responsibility. They want success, freedom, confidence, respect, and financial security, but they want someone else to be responsible for creating those results. They blame their background, their environment, their lack of support, their past mistakes, or their bad luck. But every time you blame something else for everything, you give that thing power over your future. The question is not whether you are responsible for everything that has happened to you. You are not. The question is whether you are willing to become responsible for what happens next. Your future is too valuable to be placed in the hands of your past. If you made mistakes, learn from them. If you failed, study the failure. If you lost time, stop losing more of it by regretting what cannot be changed. If someone underestimated you, let their doubt become fuel, not a prison. You do not need to spend the rest of your life proving people wrong. You need to spend your life becoming undeniable to yourself. Because the most powerful transformation begins when you stop asking, who is going to change my life, and start declaring, I am. That declaration does not mean the journey will suddenly become easy. It means you are no longer powerless. It means you've decided that your choices matter, your effort matters, your discipline matters, your response matters. And when you understand that, you begin to take your power back, but one decision at a time. A better future does not begin when your circumstances change. It begins when you decide to change the person facing those circumstances. This is one of the most powerful truths you can ever accept. You cannot consistently create a life that is greater than the person you have become. If you want different results, you must be willing to develop different habits, different standards, different beliefs, and a different level of commitment. Ask yourself a serious question. What if the life you want is not impossible, but simply requires a version of you that has not yet been developed? That question changes everything. Many people want success, but they do not want the discipline that success requires. They want confidence, but they avoid the situations that would build it. They want freedom, but they refuse to develop the skills and habits that create independence. They want a better future, but they continue repeating the behaviors that created their current reality. The dream is not always the problem. Sometimes the problem is that the person pursuing the dream has not yet become prepared to carry it. You cannot expect a stronger future from a weaker commitment. If you want to build something extraordinary, you must become extraordinary in your consistency. If you want greater opportunities, you must increase your value. If you want more respect, you must first raise the standards you have for yourself. If you want to lead others, you must learn to lead your own thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions. The transformation begins when you stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, who must I become to achieve it? That question forces you to grow. Maybe you must become more disciplined. Maybe you must become more patient. Maybe you must become more courageous. Maybe you must become more focused. Maybe you must stop seeking approval from people who do not understand your vision. Maybe you must stop allowing temporary comfort to control your long-term decisions, because your future will always demand something from you. Every new level of life requires a new level of thinking. The habits that were acceptable in your past may become the very habits that limit your future. Growth requires you to recognize when an old version of yourself has reached its limit. And here is the hook. You do not have to remain loyal to a version of yourself that was created by fear, failure, insecurity, or limitation. You can evolve. You can become more disciplined than you've ever been. You can become more focused than your past self. You can become the person who keeps promises, finishes what they start, and continues moving even when the excitement disappears. But you must understand that becoming that person will require you to do things your old identity would have avoided. You will have to wake up when you would rather sleep. You will have to work when nobody is watching. You will have to say no when everyone else is saying yes. You will have to keep going when there is no immediate reward. That is how identity changes. You do not become a new person by simply thinking about becoming one. You become a new person through repeated action. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you become more disciplined. Every time you choose courage over fear, you become braver. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become more trustworthy to yourself. Your future is asking you to grow into someone capable of handling it. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start preparing yourself. Stop asking whether you're capable. Start developing the capability. Stop wishing for a different life while remaining committed to the same habits. The future you want may be closer than you think, but the person you need to become is the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. Your life can change in a single moment, but that moment usually begins with a decision, not a wish, not a vague hope, not a promise that you will try someday, a real decision. Because there is a difference between wanting a better life and deciding that you are no longer willing to remain where you are. Here's the question most people avoid. What decision have you been postponing that could completely change your direction? Maybe it is the decision to start. Maybe it is the decision to stop. Maybe it is the decision to leave behind a habit, a relationship, an environment, or a mindset that has been quietly destroying your potential. Sometimes the most important decision of your life is not about what you will add, it is about what you finally decide to remove. Every day you are making decisions that shape your future, even when you believe you are making no decision at all. Choosing to procrastinate is a decision. Choosing to remain distracted is a decision. Choosing to stay in the same environment is a decision. Choosing to continue believing that you're incapable is a decision. And the consequences of those decisions accumulate silently until one day you look at your life and realize that your future was being created by choices you barely noticed. That is why your decisions matter so much. One powerful decision can change your direction before it changes your circumstances. You may decide to become disciplined before you become successful. You may decide to believe in yourself before anyone else believes in you. You may decide to pursue a dream before you have proof that it will work. The decision comes first. The evidence often comes later. And here's the hook. Your life may not change when you get a new opportunity. It may change when you finally decide to become the person who creates opportunities. A decision creates movement. Movement creates action. Action creates experience. Experience creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. But none of that begins until you decide. You do not need to know every step before you begin. You do not need perfect confidence. You do not need complete certainty. If you wait until you are completely fearless, you may wait forever. The person who changes their life is not always the smartest person in the room, is often the person who decides faster, learns from mistakes, and refuses to remain permanently defeated by temporary setbacks. Your decisions also reveal your priorities. You can say that your health matters, but your daily choices reveal the truth. You can say that your future matters, but your use of time reveals the truth. You can say that your dream matters, but your consistency reveals the truth. Your life eventually becomes a reflection of what you repeatedly choose. So begin paying attention to the small decisions. The decision to wake up and do the work. The decision to study one more hour. The decision to save instead of waste. The decision to control your emotions instead of allowing them to control you, the decision to continue when progress feels slow. You may think these choices are too small to matter, but small choices become patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits become character, and character shapes destiny. The future you want may be separated from your current life by one decision you keep delaying. Make the decision, then prove it through action. Your past can explain where you came from, but it does not have the authority to decide where you are going. This is a truth that can completely change the way you see your life. Too many people continue living inside chapters that have already ended. They carry old failures into new opportunities, old rejection into new relationships, old pain into new possibilities, and old fear into every decision they make. They are physically moving forward, but mentally they are still standing in yesterday. Here's the question that can wake you up. How much of your future are you sacrificing to punish yourself for something you can no longer change? Your past may contain mistakes, but you are not your mistakes. It may contain failure, but you are not a failure. It may contain rejection, but rejection does not define your value. You may have made decisions that you regret, but regret was never designed to become your permanent identity. It was meant to teach you, not imprison you. The problem is not always what happened to you. Sometimes the problem is the meaning you continue to give it. One person experiences failure and says, I am finished. Another experiences the same failure and says, now I know what does not work. One person experiences rejection and decides, I am not good enough. Another decides this door closed, but I will keep moving until I find another. The event may be the same, but the interpretation creates a completely different future. And here's the hook. You cannot rewrite what happened, but you can rewrite what it means. Your past can become a prison, or it can become a teacher. It can become evidence that you are broken, or evidence that you survived. It can become a reason to stop, or a reason to become stronger. The choice is not always easy, but it is yours. Maybe you grew up without the advantages other people had. Maybe you made financial mistakes. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you lost years to procrastination, fear, or confusion. Maybe you failed at something you deeply believed in, but the time you lost does not require you to lose more. The mistake you made does not require you to repeat it. The person who hurt you does not deserve to control every decision you made for the rest of your life. At some point, you must stop allowing an old chapter to write new pages. This does not mean you forget your past. It means you learn from it without remaining trapped inside it. Take the lesson, keep the wisdom. Release the identity that says you can never change. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to become more disciplined than you were. You are allowed to make better decisions. You are allowed to change your environment, your habits, your goals, and your direction. You are allowed to become someone your past self would barely recognize. And sometimes the greatest victory is not proving to the people who doubted you that they were wrong. Sometimes the greatest victory is proving to yourself that the pain did not destroy your ability to grow. Your past is a chapter. It is not the entire book. The next page is still blank. And every decision you make today gives you the opportunity to write something different. Stop carrying yesterday as if it is a permanent sentence. Learn from it, rise above it, and use everything you've experienced as fuel for the person you are becoming. Because the moment you stop allowing your past to control your future, you finally give your future room to begin. There will be days when you do not feel motivated. There will be mornings when your goals seem distant, your energy feels low, and the easiest choice appears to be doing nothing. You will have moments when you question whether the effort is worth it, whether you are making progress, and whether you should simply wait until you feel inspired again. But here's the truth most people discover too late. If your future depends only on your motivation, your future will always be uncertain. Motivation can start the journey, but discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement disappears. Here's the hook. The person who changes their life is not the person who feels motivated every day. It is the person who learns how to keep going on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. You cannot build an extraordinary life by only doing what feels easy. You cannot reach a meaningful goal by working only when your emotions give you permission. Feelings change constantly. One day you may feel powerful, focused, and unstoppable. The next day, you may feel tired, doubtful, and completely unprepared. If your actions are controlled by those changing emotions, your results will also keep changing. Discipline gives you something motivation cannot. Consistency. Discipline is the ability to honor your commitments even when you do not feel like it. It is waking up and doing the work because you decided it matters. It is studying when entertainment is more tempting. It is exercising when your mind is searching for excuses. It is saving when spending would provide temporary pleasure. It is continuing to build when nobody is applauding your effort. And the most important thing about discipline is that it is not something you are simply born with. It is developed through repetition. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen your self-trust. Every time you resist an unnecessary distraction, you strengthen your focus. Every time you continue through discomfort, you strengthen your character. You are training yourself to become the person who can be trusted with bigger opportunities. Because success is not only about what you want, it is about whether you can consistently do what is required. Many people want the results of a disciplined life while remaining committed to an undisciplined lifestyle. They want achievement without sacrifice, progress without patience, and transformation without discomfort. But every meaningful result has a price. The price may be time, it may be effort, it may be failure, it may be saying no to things that feel good now so you can create something better later. You must learn to respect your future more than your temporary feelings. That does not mean you will never rest. Rest is important. It means you stop confusing rest with avoidance. It means you stop calling procrastination waiting for the right time. It means you stop allowing temporary discomfort to make permanent decisions for your life. Some of the most important work you will ever do will happen on the days when you feel least inspired. Those are the days that reveal whether your commitment is real. Anyone can work when the dream feels exciting. The real transformation happens when the dream still matters, even after the excitement fades. So build systems, create routines, set standards, make progress easier to repeat. Do not depend on willpower alone. Prepare your environment to support the person you are becoming. Remove distractions before they steal your attention. Plan your priorities before the day begins. Make the right action so familiar that it becomes part of your identity. You do not need to win every day. You need to keep showing up. One disciplined day may not transform your life, but one disciplined day repeated again and again can transform your identity. And when your identity changes, your choices change. When your choices change, your results change. The future is built by the person who keeps moving after the feeling disappears. So when motivation fades, do not assume the journey is over. Perhaps that is the moment the real journey begins. Continue anyway. Take the next step anyway. Keep the promise anyway. Because every time you act, or despite how you feel, you prove that your future is more powerful than your temporary emotions. Your better future does not begin someday. It begins with what you do today. Not when you have more money, not when you have more confidence, not when everyone supports you, not when the timing is perfect. The future you want is being shaped by the choices you're making in this exact moment. Here's the hook. The life you dream about is being built or destroyed. In ordinary moments that do not look important while you are living them, the decision to wake up early, the decision to learn instead of scroll, the decision to save instead of spend everything, the decision to exercise instead of make another excuse, the decision to work on your goals when nobody is watching. These choices may seem small, but your future is not created by one dramatic moment. It is created by what you repeatedly do when there is no applause, no audience, and no immediate reward. Many people keep waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They say, I will start when I have more time. I will begin when I feel ready. I will take action when the circumstances are better. But the perfect moment is often an illusion created by fear. There will always be another reason to wait. There will always be another obstacle. There will always be something that is not perfect. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you may spend your entire life waiting. You do not need to change your entire life in one day. You need to change the direction of your day. One action can create momentum. One decision can restore your confidence. 1 hour of focused effort can move you closer to a goal you have been delaying for years. And once you begin, something powerful happens. Action creates evidence. When you take action, you prove to yourself that change is possible. When you keep showing up, you begin to trust yourself. When you keep promises to yourself, your identity begins to change. You stop saying, I am trying to become disciplined and start realizing I am a disciplined person. You stop saying, I hope I can succeed, and start becoming someone who consistently does the work required for success. Your future does not need a perfect version of you. It needs a committed version of you. You can start with what you have. You can begin from where you are. You can take the next step, even if you do not know the entire path. You can learn as you move. You can improve as you continue. You can make mistakes and still make progress. The biggest mistake is not starting imperfectly. The biggest mistake is allowing the fear of imperfection to keep you permanently inactive. Every day you delay, you are still making a decision. You are deciding to remain where you are for one more day. That does not mean you should feel guilty about the past. It means you must recognize the power of today. Today is the only place where change can happen. You cannot act yesterday. You cannot work tomorrow. You can only act now. So ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? Then do it before your mind has time to create another excuse. Make the call, start the project, read the book, learn the skill, fix the habit, take the first step. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need the courage to take the next step, because your future is not waiting for you to become perfect. It is waiting for you to become intentional. And every time you choose action over delay, courage over fear, and progress over comfort, you are sending a message to your future. I am coming, I am building, I am becoming. The future you want will not be created by what you intend to do someday. It will be created by what you decide to do today. So remember this, the major key to your better future is you, not the person you were yesterday, the person you choose to become today. Your future is not written in stone. It is being written through your decisions. Every morning gives you another opportunity to rewrite the story. Every challenge gives you another opportunity to become stronger. Every failure gives you another opportunity to learn. Every day gives you another chance to move closer to the person you were meant to become. You may have started behind. You may have made mistakes. You may have lost time. You may have been rejected. You may have been underestimated, but none of that has the final word. You do. Your future will not be created by what you say you want. It will be created by what you are willing to do consistently. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Believe in yourself before the evidence appears. Take the first step before you know the entire path. Work on yourself before the world recognizes your value, because one day the person you are becoming will look back at the person you are today and say, thank you for not quitting. Thank you for choosing discipline. Thank you for believing when there was no proof. Thank you for becoming the person who changed everything. And when that day comes, you will understand the truth. The future was never something you had to wait for. The future was something you had to build, and the major key was always you.